side moving forward with plans for the remains found in the search for possible mass graves from the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre. The Public Oversight Committee meeting tonight to discuss the next phase after at least 12 coffins were found in the search at Oaklawn Cemetery last summer. 2 Works for You's Katie Kelleher shares what the committee discussed and the next steps. Katie.
Thanks, Karen. Much of the meeting discussion revolved around a proposal for exhuming and then reinterring the remains found. If they are associated with the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre, some on the committee don't want them reburied at Oaklawn Cemetery. The 1921 Graves Public Oversight Committee hoping to resume its excavation at Oaklawn Cemetery, but first it needs a plan for the at least 12 coffins found. Before any work can be done, they must decide where to rebury the remains once they are exhumed. Multiple committee members making it clear they don't want them to stay at Oaklawn.
I don't want my ancestors buried in that cemetery, and I hope that she's not in that pit. But if she is, I'm making it clear today, I don't want her buried there.
Whether or not they decide if remains should stay at Oaklawn or be moved, the city will have to apply for permits and file notices with the state health department. The Physical Investigation Committee is proposing 2 scenarios. First, if the findings are inconclusive or indicate they are not victims of the Tulsa Race Massacre, they would be reinterred at Oaklawn with a memorial for the search. If they are found to be victims of the Race Massacre, they would take DNA samples to identify them. Then they could either be entombed above ground at a facility while waiting on DNA analysis, which researchers say could take more than a year, or they would be reinterred at Oaklawn, and if next of kin is found, they can move them. They would also memorialize those found at Oaklawn. The committee deciding to take more time to discuss the reinterment location before making a decision. Meanwhile, investigators are still planning to search other areas of Oaklawn, including the possibility there are more coffins underneath the ones found. They're also planning to do a geophysical survey at Rolling Oak Cemetery, but are waiting on the owner to travel back to Oklahoma before they can move ahead. The Public Oversight Committee also calling on the DA's office to investigate and prosecute those responsible for the Tulsa Race Massacre.
But I push back on that notion that this is not something that he can prosecute, because people may be dead. The people may be, but the institutions are not.
Members of the Public Oversight Committee will look at additional cemetery options before their next meeting in February. The goal is to resume work in the cemetery this summer. Katie Kelleher, 2 Works for You.
To read more on the 1921 Race Massacre Graves search, log on to our website, kjrh.com.